you know, even around that time, it was like, yo, just take a break, stop. It's who I am. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally who I am, and I just haven't stopped. And it's really just building relationships, being genuine, doing exactly what I say I'm gonna do. You know, showing up for people even when I can't show up for myself. You know, and again, that's sacrifice, taking risks. Today, I'm a little more calculated. I have to be because of the amount of, quite frankly, abuse that I've suffered, been a part of the scene, and I wasn't trying to get emotional, but like I've been someone who was not from here. I've been mistreated a lot. So, God damn it. Ah!
Yo, it's your boy Oso Loso, man. We have another special guest with us, but let me get to my calls real quick. Who we got here?
It's your boy Chase in the building. You know what it is, man. Live and direct.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have I'm not even going to hold you to just grammars. We have a Michigan. We have a Midwest legend in the house with us today. Can you give the camera a proper introduction?
Yeah, man. What's up, y'all? It's Lady Ace Boogie. How y'all feeling? Yeah, in the building. Shout out to these fellas, man, for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Happy to be here. Yeah.
I'm glad you're here, man. Let's kick it off.
You know, I'm sure you've tapped in. You see how we start the episode off. We always ask the risk taker of the hour. Let people know who you are. Define yourself.
Yeah,
this is your moment.
No, good question. You know, I would define myself as an artist first and foremost, I think. You know what? Even before that, though, like, I am someone who is very passionate about community and empowering people to be the best versions of themselves. And how I do that is through music. You know what I'm saying? So I would say just like a community advocate first and foremost, and then I do that through my music, through my artistry, through community activism, but also, you know, I curate events and produce, you know, festivals and you know, obviously the creator, co-creator and co-producer of Push the City Cypher, which has been become a staple in the Michigan community. And as you know, under Lady Ace Boogie Presents, I have a few series that I do, a dope ass lineup where I put together multi-genre lineups. I'm very passionate about you know, mixing genres. I personally am like, I grew up on rock and roll, country music. Hip hop is just who I am, you know what I mean? But as far as like what I play in my speakers most of the time is like heavy metal, rock and roll, you know. And I try to incorporate some of that in my music, but overall, like, I'm really passionate about bringing multi-genres together. So a dope ass lineup was kind of born from that passion. Nice. And then I just got a couple festivals that I've, you know, had my hand in, and someone who, you know, who has supported and poured into the hip hop scene, the music scene in general, and specifically in West Michigan over the last 12 years, consistently through just collaboration, you know, building relationships with venues and promoters and artists and, you know, business owners to really just bring together the ecosystem of our music scene. So, yeah.
Hell of an introduction.
Right.
Thank you.
I forgot I was in an interview. I was like, I need to hear more of that.
I think also, sorry, I got to say this, because it's a huge part of my identity. Like, I am a wife, right? And I am an aunt. I'm a mother. I'm a grandma. Like, I'm all these things. So, you know, it plays a huge part of my day to day. Like, I have a very large family, seven of us, like, sibling wise, and then I have 39 nieces and nephews. One of those nephews I take care of full time. I call him my nephew son. Love him so much. And you know, I have two kids, a grandchild. 2 dogs and a lovely wife. So a lot of hats.
Right. I'm about to say, how do you keep track of all the birthdays?
Yeah.
That calendar is full.
Listen, my Cash App gets blown up. Like, I had to like legitimately like uninstall the app so many times because it's just like, I hate saying no, but it's like, it's 39 of y'all. You know what I'm saying? I can't keep up. So yeah, man. But yeah, that's who I am. Lady Ace Boogie. Yeah.
Lady Ace Boogie in the
Lady
building.
Ace.
So we'll just, start it off the right way, man. Where does it start? Where did it all start for you of how we even got to where did the birth of Lady Ace Boogie start?
Oh man, good question. Yeah. So a lot of people don't know this, but I was born in Atlanta, Georgia.
Nice.
Yeah, I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was actually, out of all 7 of my siblings, I was the only one born in Atlanta. The rest of them were born in Charleston, West Virginia. So, so I was born in West Virginia, raised in born in Atlanta, raised in West Virginia. I spent part of my childhood in West Virginia and in Ohio. So I spent about 10 years in Ohio before I actually moved to Michigan, which I want to say is about 13, 14 years ago that I actually moved to Michigan. And so I would say, my journey has been quite interesting. Growing up in West Virginia and then moving to Dayton, Ohio was quite the culture shock. I had a lot of, it was hanging out in the woods, and I had a lot of white friends, and racist parents that I dealt with, and but I also brought like an element of like just at the core of who I was, just like kind of been a badass at that age, and that's when I actually started like my first little gang when I lived in West Virginia. I was like 10 years old. I had a clique that I started called OTC. So it's interesting to think about now. Like, I've always had those leadership qualities, but back then, I didn't really know how to harness it. And so I was in the streets like pretty heavy from the time I was 10 up until I was, I want to say like 21, 22. Like that whole time was like, from West Virginia. It wasn't like that crucial in West Virginia, but when I moved to Dayton, Ohio, that's when I really like started being a part of the gang scene and like, selling drugs and just being a part of a whole like culture that I only seen on TV, you know what I mean, and listen to on songs. And but that street life, really, I gravitated towards that. And again, like I had at that time, like I was doing music, but like just like I was rapping for people here and there. My raps weren't dope. I was more of like an entertainer. Like people used to ask me to do like my impression of Michael Jackson. Like I had that on lock. You couldn't tell me shit back in the day doing my Michael Jackson impression at all. Like, but just kind of going from West Virginia to Ohio, and then that culture difference, and then that's when I kind of got into more serious, like a little bit more serious with the music. I was 15. I met a group called DNA. Two brothers actually. Shout out to those guys, Double A and Young Crucial. Those guys took me under their wing, taught me a lot about just this rap music, how to put songs together. That was my first kind of time in the studio dealing with them, and and at that time, like it was again not. I don't say I didn't take it seriously, but like I was a kid, you know what I mean? So it was like I was in the streets. I was, I was a runaway constantly. I was doing the things I wasn't supposed to do around that time. So the music really reflected that. So if you know my music today, if you would have known my music back then, completely different. I'm talking about
a lot more raw.
Oh man, I mean, I was talking about what I was living. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we'll get to kind of like the journey of like, at that time, then when I kind of got to like elevate to the person I am today, how the music has been reflected in that. But anyway, so when I was living in Ohio, I spent a few years kind of in the music scene. Like I said, just kind of nothing too major, nothing too serious. And I moved to Sandusky, Ohio. This is interesting. To work at Cedar Point.
I was about to say Cedar Point.
Yeah. This was like 2007, 2008, maybe. I moved out there. I was tired of like being this person that I just wasn't a great person. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I've always been a great person at my core, but like the things that I was applying it to wasn't okay. You know what I'm saying? At that point, I was in like 2 or 3 different gangs. Like struggling with my addiction, you know what I'm saying? Like just struggling with a lot of things. Been a misogynist, having like multiple girlfriends and treated them like shit, unfortunately. Yeah. And I was just at a point in my life where I'm like, yo, I got to get out of this. Like I have to get out of this. And so I moved from Dayton, Ohio to Sandusky, Ohio, and just kind of gives us kind of the journey of how I got to Grand Rapids and how I got to Michigan. But I met some fellas out there. My homie Protege, shout out to him, and Just Fly. I met those guys at Cedar Point. We were working at Cedar Point. They rapped, I rapped, and we started a group called Oh My, right? So OHMI. I was from Ohio. Protege was from Cleveland, and then Just Fly was from Flint. So it was Oh My, right? And we had Sandusky on fire. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Like it. We put on a lot of really great shows. Like we opened up for Little Scrappy, Young Dro. Like it was really, really dope. And we're like, you know what, y'all, we're kind of dope with this shit. Let's like actually do something with it. And so, at the same time, I had met a young lady that who was from Lakeview, Michigan at the time, and she was going to Grand Valley State University. And so that's how I got introduced to Grand Rapids. So I moved to Grand Rapids, I think it was like 2009, and you know, she got me there, but what kept me there was like the scene, really, like the music scene. And you know, I feel like Grand Rapids is a hub for like you know, music and just social justice and a lot of things that I was being introduced to at the time. Like I worked with Well House, which is a organization that transitions homeless people to independent living. And you know, I was doing a lot of the music and just kind of, you know, everything kind of just shaped from there. And yeah, when I moved to Grand Rapids, it was like my life really changed. I was been exposed to different concepts of like I work for a company called Cascade Engineering because, you know,
I used to work for Cascade.
Really?
My pops did too.
Yep, that's crazy. That's crazy. I didn't know that. That's so cool. That's where I really was able to take those leadership skills that I knew I had and really apply them to something, right? Like Fred Keller was the CEO at the time when I was there, and he introduced me to a concept called servant leadership and seven habits of highly effective people, Stephen Covey.
Yes.
And I grasped onto that, and that really shaped me into being the person that I am today, truly. And that's where the music kind of transitioned a little bit too from there, because my first album that I ever released is called Feel Good Music, and it really, if you listen to it, it gives you the part of me that was truly just a different human than if you would have heard music prior to that, right? It was me kind of trying to find my way and find my sound to, you know, putting out content that was positive but not corny, but it still represented the rawness of who I am and what I've come from. And so I released Feel Good Music back in 2013. Then I re-released it in 2015, and honestly, like I just been going ever since. Like I haven't stopped, man. Like it started with just, you know, again, like Billy's Lounge. I was at Billy's Lounge. Shout out to Lisa Downey, Mike G. You know,
Shout out to Mike G.
Yeah, man. There was a shout out to DJ Prodigy too. I do remember like back when I was still doing the Oh My days. One of the first venues that I played at was like the 36th Street Lounge, I believe. Eventually, myself and Oh My broke up because it just didn't work out. But and then that's when I kind of took on my solo career through Feel Good Music, working with David Manley, aka Curtis Manley. Shout out to him, Wolfman, incredible dude. He's produced the whole project. Really, really, really great album. It's one of my favorite projects I've ever put out. And so I released that in 2013, then re-released it in 2015, and then I think, man, since then I have about six albums.
Nice.
Yeah, 6 albums right now.
Nice.
Working on my 7th. So, yeah, and now here I am. I'm sorry, I know that was a lot.
Nah, that's perfectly
I
fine.
almost forgot what the question was. I just
on every word. We good.
I do have a question, just to rewind it back a little bit. What
Yeah.
did OTC stand for?
Oakwood Terrace Click.
Okay.
Look, OTC. This was it right here. The O, the T, and the C. And really, like, I lived on this hill, so it's so funny. Literally in the mountain in West Virginia. We had uphill and we had downhill, and then we lived downhill, and we would like kind of beef with the people uphill. You know what I'm saying? But it'd be like little super stupid silly beef, man. Like we would play like concrete football. Like I was playing concrete football back in the day. You know what I'm saying? See, Oakwood Terrace Click. So we used to have some beefs with the the uphill people. We would play concrete football. I would be the only like girl out there playing concrete football, literally. So when I tell people, yeah, I used to play football, they don't believe me, but literally I used to be out. I used to be out on that concrete like taking
Getting
hits,
down.
and I'm not talking about flag football. I'm talking about tackle football. It's crazy. So yeah, that's what OTC stands for. Crazy.
Did you want to go?
I was going to say, I mean, kind of how we got to the music. What were those early influences for you as far as like artists or whatever music were you listening to that made you be like, you know, I want to do this myself?
Yeah, but definitely Michael Jackson.
I'm with you.
Yeah, man. Like Michael Jackson was a huge influence of like me wanting to be an entertainer. You know what I mean? And then as I've kind of progressed, interesting enough, like the heavy metal group Korn.
Oh yeah.
They have a lot of influence on me wanting to be an artist. I listened to a lot of Korn back in the day, and I just
Korn was dope.
I love them. System of a Down, like it's interesting how it's influenced my music over time. If you really listen to it, like I try to add those components of like who I am in that. But as far as like hip hop, I mean, there's a lot of artists over the years that have inspired me, but mostly local, to be honest. Like,
Nice.
I didn't really start listening like hardcore to hip hop outside of what you would hear on the radio until I moved to Grand Rapids and started getting introduced to some of the really dope MCs that lived here. Like, at the time, Support was really dope. Vincent Dix. We had Punks You Hate, which was like MC3PO and Vincent Dix. Loma, Loud Chief. A1, he was A1 back in the day. Now he's Loud Chief. Southeast Money Mafia, which was Woozy and the Sykes and E Will and all those cats. Like, we all came up together. You know what I mean? J Rob, Stephen Malcolm. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are all cats that I was listening to and was like, yo, yeah, like this is real. This is real hip hop, and so it's influenced and inspired by my sound over the years for sure.
Fire.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
I see every single part of your past that you bring up is pretty much you was in some kind of leadership, some kind of power.
Yeah.
So a question I love to ask people when I hear their backstory like that, do you think leadership can be taught, or is that something that you think that is instilled in your brain? Obviously you can, find ways to brush up to be a better leader, but do you think that's something that can be taught, or you think that was in you from birth?
I think it's a this and that situation. I think it's a this or that. I think, yes, I think it can be taught, but also, it is something that you're born with. I think from a passion perspective, you have to be passionate about it, because being in a position of leadership, like even right now, like I have 13 employees. Like I don't do. A lot of people think I do music and stuff full time. I do not. I have a full time job that demands my time, and I it's equally important to me. I love the industry that I'm in. I love the work that I do. But I'm also in a leadership position, and I have people who depend on me every single day. And so and that comes with different personalities. And I have to be. Sometimes I have to be a different part of myself for each individual, right? And that really, that's really I guess a symptom of being a leader who wants to be a leader, right? Because I'm willing to put in that work and willing to go the extra mile and carry that extra weight just so that I can instill empowerment and motivate and work through problems and issues with the people who I lead. You know what I mean? But I think there's some technicality things that you can learn over time, and there's some things from a leadership perspective like delegation and just some of the buzzwords that come along with leadership. I think you can learn those things, but I think really truly being able to navigate conflict and be able to have the bandwidth and the desire to work through human condition issues, human issues that people are going to show up with every single day. That's something that you got to have. You know what I mean?
I was really quick. I was just telling my brother recently. So I'm in a leadership position at my job as well. And so last year I had 30 employees, women. Woo. Pretty much all women.
Wow.
And now I got moved into a different position, still leadership, but now I have 3 employees and they're all men.
Wow.
And I said, my level of stress and irritation with human beings has not changed, not one bit.
No.
Because people just, like you said, dealing with different people's needs and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
When you're in that position of leadership, having to deal with all that you got to be a strong individual.
Yeah, you
100%.
do.
On a spiritual level too, definitely.
Oh, definitely on a spiritual level. Yeah.
So I feel everything you're saying.
Thank you. No, I'm happy. I didn't know that about you, so that's really good to know. Yeah, for sure.
So you spoke about, coming to Grand Rapids and, how did you ingratiate yourself being from out of town? How did you get into
Thank you.
Because there's a lot of people from
asking.
here that can't even figure out.
Thank you for asking that question. That is an important question because especially with like risk takers, right? Risky business. It was risky. Mm-hmm. It was risky. It was sometimes lonely. But I will say in summary, like it took a lot of sacrifice. A lot of sacrifice, like especially working for the organization that I worked for. I worked for Wellhouse at the time and Cascade Engineering, holding a pretty important role in both organizations, and still giving my all to the music scene, not just the hip hop scene, the music scene. I mean, there was times where like I would do like 5 events a week, maybe even sometimes it was like 2 or 3 events a day. So really, like it was like 8 or 9 events a week that I would hit up, and not just to just show up and take pictures, but to really invest in building relationships with the people that were there, with the artists, with the promoters, with the venue owners, the managers. And so and really like invest. When I say like sacrifice and investment, it wasn't just my time, like money, because I wasn't asking to be put on no lists. Eventually it came to that because of my presence, but I wanted to pay. And even now when I go to shows, like if people just let me in, I'm like, nope, I want to pay to get in here because I want to support the people, you know what I'm saying? And then if you see my closet, like literally years of wasted bread, years of breaking bread, bear all, like all
Shout
of
out my
the
brother, Joe
up
Brown.
life, like you know what I'm saying? Like I have supported my closet is full of local merch. Like every time I go to an event, I'm buying stuff. Like I want to invest. When we talk about ecosystem, it's not just popping up and and no shade, but it's not just popping up when things are popping, right? It's building and investing in the people around you through multiple aspects. And that's what I've literally done for the last 12 years. And I haven't stopped. It's been even times where I was like, yo, I probably need to take a break. Like, 2020 when my dad passed away, like there's a couple articles out there that said that I retired, and Dante Cope always fucking with me and says he'll bring that up every now and again. I love that dude. He's my arch nemesis. I didn't retire. I lost my identity when my dad passed away, and I went, quite frankly, I lost my mind. I did. I went crazy, and so even around that time, it was like, yo, just take a break, stop. It's who I am. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally who I am. And I just haven't stopped. And it's really just building relationships, being genuine, doing exactly what I say I'm going to do, showing up for people even when I can't show up for myself, and again, that's sacrifice, taking risks. Today, I'm a little more calculated. I have to be because of the amount of, quite frankly, abuse that I've suffered, been a part of the scene. And I wasn't trying to get emotional, but like I've been someone who was not from here. I've been mistreated a lot. So, God damn it.
No, that's fine. I also want to say too, as somebody who I haven't been on the scene as long as you guys, and that's not an age thing. That's just how late I chose to do my profession.
38.
Yeah.
He's 38. But it's so crazy to hear, because when I first got into the scene, that sounds so foreign when you say, oh, I was out doing shows, 2 or 3, 4 times a week, and it, pre-COVID, that was the norm.
Yeah.
It was literally a new show, something going on at all times. And as I started getting acquainted into the industry, when I would talk to different people, I was saying this to give you flowers. I don't think there's ever been a conversation when it came to greats in the city as far as what they bring to the table, as far as putting them on shows and giving them opportunities. Your name come all the time. So I would like to say,
man,
shout out to that. You know,
thank you. That's been some time coming. I'll be honest. I think this current state of our hip hop scene that I've had a major hand in. Period. I pride myself on being humble, but there are things that are just undeniable, and that's one of them. Period. You know what I mean? But it took a minute to get there because I feel like I had the folks that I was trying to prove that I was worthy. Quite frankly, weren't worth the effort that I put in to try and get that recognition and that acknowledgement. And when I stopped caring about being accepted by certain people, that's when internally, I felt really good about myself and my contributions, and stopped seeking that acknowledgement. Right, I stopped seeking it because I wasn't getting it. I promise you, I was not I was not getting it, and and this kind of brings me to like the Grand Rapids Hip Hop Awards real quick. I'll just say this because there's a lot of conversation about people being ungrateful or people, not putting in work, and people, I've heard people say from give it to the young cats to, old heads need to sit down and blah, blah. There's been a lapse in time for something like that for the hip hop scene. Over 12 years. There has not been a hip hop awards in Grand Rapids since I've been on the scene, and that's been 12 years, right? So you have people who have, like me, who have been consistent throughout, and you have people who had a really good run 5, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, who didn't get the acknowledgement and recognition. And then you have people now who over the maybe last year have contributed to, the success of the music scene. All of that is fantastic. All of that exists. All of it is, it's there. You cannot talk about one without talking about the other. And so if people feel slighted, it's understood. It's understandable because there hasn't been any consistency around acknowledging the people who have given their time and effort and love to our hip hop scene. No fault of anyone's. It's just that's what the fact of what it is. And quite frankly, being someone who has been consistent and poured into the scene over the last 12 years, our natural kind of progression was to do something like the Hip Hop Awards. We had something in the works, Pusha City Cypher, give them their flowers. We had that in the works, but we wanted the Grand Rapids Hip Hop Awards to happen, and we wanted to honor that because it's important to. And I know again, like a lot of folks are feeling a certain way about it. I have my own feelings about it, and I won't get into that. But what I do want to make very clear is that there was a large portion of time where people were not getting acknowledged, and I am one of them. Yep. Specifically in the hip hop, from a hip hop perspective, I've been very blessed, very honored to be acknowledged and loved and supported by the music scene, the fans, the people. Over the course of my career, I've never had a problem with that, and it's truly because I've put in the work. It has nothing to do with my family showing up to my events. My family don't live here, so you know what I'm saying. Like literally, like I think that gave me also an advantage to not fall into that. I'm not getting the support. I'm not getting the support from my friends and my family because I didn't have any friends and family when you know what I'm saying? Like I literally had to build all that up. And when I go, to be honest, at my shows, I'm seeing complete strangers, and that's what I want to see. You know what I'm saying? And then you have the people who are loyal who will show up. But ultimately, like it took a while. And because of egos and, people feeling like I didn't have a place here because I'm not from here, which is complete bullshit. Stop saying that because I've put in a lot of fucking work genuinely to see the success of our music scene. And it's all out of love for the people, literally. Like quite literally. And it's benefited me in a lot of great ways. It has, but that's not why I do it. And so, So when I say, when I got emotional a second ago about like not getting the acknowledgement, it did hurt. It did hurt from, folks who I came up with that would have certain things to say about me, and I wouldn't be a part of any of the lists that would come out. I wouldn't be a part of, the conversations of like when people talk about hip hop artists and even now, if you think about it, even the Grand Rapids Hip Hop Awards, I wasn't nominated for any of the artists categories, right. Which is crazy. But I also changed my perspective and said, you know what, I've done above and beyond that, and that's okay if they see me from the perspective of being the hip hop CEO and the leader of that, giving me that's an honor, you know what I'm saying, like in itself. So I'm grateful. I think people need to understand that it's not just about your talent. It's not just about you putting out projects. What has your brand? What have you done for your community? We got to start looking at that, because the individual success of people is great. I would never take that away. But when we talk about honoring people and acknowledging people, it needs to be the people who have sacrificed and put in the work for the community and the people, not just for themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Impact.
So I feel like I just was preaching a little bit, but
No, let it rock.
Needs to be heard. For
Yeah,
sure.
no, it's kind of got to be crazy for you, because I've heard, to hear you come from, I didn't have any way in, and I kind of made my own way to now people call you a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
I've heard people call you a gate.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, ain't it crazy? Like, so hearing you say, like, when I first got here,
Well, thank you for telling me that, because I've never heard it. I've never heard that.
I've heard that.
No, never, ever have I ever. I understand. I'm not from here. I'm not right. And I've been here for about 12 years. I've been in Kalamazoo for about 7. Shout out to my wife, because she got me to move. I lived in Grand Rapids for a while, and then I got married and moved to Kalamazoo for her. But I spent a lot of time and effort, and and most of my experience in what I do has come from the West Michigan scene, and I have opened up so many doors. From just traditional venues not wanting hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Mixing the genres and bringing people, into audiences that they've never have been a part of, right? There's people that I met over in the last year that I felt like was pretty amazing, and I gave them opportunities for people that I've been rocking with for years hasn't had. So that's not gatekeeping. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I say Lady Ace Boogie and Friends on a lineup, you're seeing people pop up that I don't maybe not even know personally. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know a lot of these cats personally that I've put on stages. So that's not even just on stages, but have given, have connected them with venues, or connected them with festivals or producers or what have you, studios, anything. I have never gatekeeped in my entire life. I don't plan on ever doing it. It's not in my nature to do it. So whoever's saying that, stop it, because it's not true. I mean, there's opinion, and then there's fact. Okay, you're entitled to your opinion, but the fact is there's not a single person that can say that they've encountered me, asked me for something, and I just said, nope, I'm keeping it. Nope, you can't have it. Never.
Real. Love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I do want to bring it back a little bit. Let me see how many years ago? Maybe 6 years ago. We actually share a special night.
Me and you.
You don't think you know it. I've told my story a million times, but I do want to hear from a different perspective. I got a chance to take photos for Nas for when he was in Grand Rapids. I was part of the media team. Shout out Gabe. You got a chance to open up for Nas.
Yeah.
I would love to hear how that came about, and just how you felt in that moment.
Yeah. Speaking of that, like, I put cats on that lineup that I didn't even know. I just let what I'm saying? Like, I saw him one night, and I think it was Cujo Sama was one. I didn't know Cujo Sama at the time. There's a couple other people too, and excuse my memory, but so that's another thing about gatekeeping. Like, I'm opening up for Nas. It's like one of the honors of my life. Like, they reached out to me. I got paid for that. I didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did. You know what I'm saying? And quite frankly, that's all my shows. I've never had to pay to get on the stage with anybody. I've opened up for Nas. I've opened up for Lizzo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've done with ASAP Rocky. Who else? Bone Thugs.
Crazy.
Danity Can.
Crazy.
Freaking Elzai. I've done stuff with Slum Village.
Crazy.
Like, a lot of really, really dope artists. And I've always gotten paid to show up at those shows. And the performance should speak for itself, though. So
Hitters.
Some of y'all can't keep up.
But that event was, man, it was that was incredible. Like, it was a beautiful night. I was able to share the stage with at least 5 or 6 different artists that night. And I don't recall you been there. Were you?
This was before I was known across the city for doing anything else.
That's crazy to think about.
I was probably shooting maybe 6 months at that point.
Wow.
Professionally with the concert stuff. So I was not a household name anyway.
Yeah. Wow. That's so cool.
That's the day I knew he was going to be.
Yeah.
That story.
He was going to be one of the ones.
That story after.
Okay.
When he told me that story, I was like, yeah, he about to be.
Wow.
Crazy,
wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was an honor. It was truly an honor to do that. And, I'm so, like, socially awkward. I didn't think to like, take pictures with them or meet them and all that. Even though that was an option, I don't do that for any of my events or shows. I truly am like kind of socially awkward a little bit, and you might not like notice it just because I turn into a different human being when I'm on stage or when I'm out. But inside, I'm just like. Yeah,
I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I know the feeling.
But it was a great night. Great night.
Man, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. What was your experience? I'm curious. Like, what was your experience?
So I actually ended up tapping in with you at the time, but you never got back with me. But it's
Really?
fine. No, this is not me trying to take shots at her.
This was 2020?
This 2019.
2019?
Yep. I want to say end of July is like the 28th or something like that.
I was struggling around that time. That 2020, 19.
I think you had Matt shooting for you that night.
Matt?
Either.
I don't even think I knew Matt back then.
You don't think so?
No, I was Sarah Ford. Sarah Ford was the one that was shooting. No, I didn't know
Okay.
Matt back then. I don't think. Yeah, Sarah Ford shot that night. I remember because I did a music video for that actual event. So yeah, you reached out and I just what did I say? What did I do?
It was you didn't answer back. It's fine.
Okay.
This is not a shot.
Okay.
I
It happens sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been told a million times it's not. If not getting back with me is perfectly okay.
Yeah.
But that night I was like, man, I really want to shoot this show, man. I'm willing to, tap in with anybody possibly that I could, talk to. So I kind of gave up hope. Nobody would respond. I was like, it's fine. Just move on. I was at work and, shows you start about 7 o'clock. Doors open 7. I was supposed to close at my job at 8. So I said, you know what? I can't even leave work early. I'm not even going to make it to the show. So I end up talking to Gabe, and I'm like, hey, here's my portfolio. If you guys need a supporting photographer or anything, it's like, yeah, we need you, lock me in and everything. I talked to this person, media pass, everything. I was like, oh, shit.
Wow. So it ended up happening.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
So I went into my manager job, I've talked to my pops. I already was crying. I'm getting a little emotional right now, but I was in the car like, Dad, they said I can come shoot G-Code. It was an amazing night. I went and told my manager, I said, I don't know who's closing this doors tonight, but I ain't going to be here. Went home, got dressed, went down, and then changed my life forever. It put me at the top of the list for,
That's incredible.
Future clients and stuff. So,
That's incredible.
Absolutely.
That's incredible. I got more to say about that, but I'm going to pause and I'm going to wipe my nose.
Yep.
Absolutely. No, you're fine.
I have more to say about that.
I never forget you called me.
I called
You
everybody.
called me. Yeah.
I call anybody who.
I think I was used at the car wash when you called me.
So I just talked to my pops after, so yeah. It was really emotional.
I bet. Like, so what's crazy is around that time, did you hit me up that day or did you hit me up kind of like, I'm going to go back and look because I try to be really good at stuff like that to respond, but most likely
It was probably that day. So,
most
I
likely
was late.
like 1,000 people were in my inbox that day trying to get into the show, and that's most likely what it was. But because I try to like build with people who are kind of up and coming and trying to get their foot in the door. I think that those are some of the most wonderful, most beautiful relationships that you could build and just like give opportunities to. So I'm happy that somebody gave me that opportunity because that's what it's all about. And it was a beautiful night. It was a beautiful night. So did you not like take any pictures of me that night?
I think I did, but I got there late because
okay.
I was trying to build up the courage to go
Yeah,
tell my
yeah,
manager,
for
hey,
sure.
I'm not working tonight. So I went home and then I hugged my mom and my pops. They can't believe it. I'm not gonna say they didn't believe in me, but they just didn't think that it was gonna turn into what it turned into today.
Yeah.
But
Congratulations.
I was a little late
Proud
getting
of
down there. I was like, okay, let me see. I think you was doing like your last song.
Yeah.
I think I got a couple of pictures. I have to go check my
Okay,
Lightroom
yeah, I'm
and see
curious.
what I got. But for sure,
That's dope. That's
it
dope.
was
Thank you
crazy.
for sharing that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about comfort zone.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We kind of spoke beforehand of, when you want to do the pod, and there's, you already talking about just socially, but, there's other things that you want to expound on, and I actually want to give you some flowers because I saw your post recently.
Yeah, man.
The person that said what they said, and I'll let you get into that.
For
but just
sure,
the way
yeah.
you responded is, kudos for
Thank
not
you.
lashing out, but handling that in the right way. But I'll let you,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've struggled with body dysmorphia for a very long time. I mean, as far as I can think, maybe 15, 16 years old. Yeah, I was also someone who had a lot of like self-hate, growing up, and and it's if you listen to my music, you'll hear a lot of affirmation. And as much as sometimes when I go to write music, I'm like, all right, I don't want to talk about like a bunch of positive shit. I want to talk a little bit of shit on this track. And when it always comes out to be, some type of affirmation. And a lot of that has to do with really me talking to myself, because I need it. I need to hear it. I've struggled with the way that I look and the way that I sound for most of my life, and it comes a lot from just, I think, social media and just the media standards. And yes. I mean, quite frankly, people ask me a lot, like, why haven't you tried to take your career to the next level? A lot of it is that, one, I love what I do from a day job perspective. I have to have stability financially in order to take care of the large amount of people that I take care of. So taking that risk isn't something that I'm willing to do. I've done it once, and literally when I did, COVID happened, which was crazy. But
so I was right there.
Yep. So but to kind of get to my point is, the other part of that is because I don't feel like I look the part, quite frankly. I don't look, like what, the current state of, hip hop looks like. And I know there's been some onesie twosies where they've kind of come out of like that media standard, and, people who are just beautifully themselves regardless of what other people think of them. But I've not had the confidence and myself to be able to withstand something like that. And so a lot of it is confidence in how I look and how I sound. And like, at the core, I don't quite know where it comes from and why I've carried it for so long. But I will say that having a partner, my wife, shout out to her.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, she's amazing. Who consistently reminds me of how beautiful I am. And I don't know corny shit. Like, it's not like, she's telling me because she feels like I need to hear it. She's telling me because it's true to her. You know what I'm saying? And like, and the way
that's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. And the way that she loves me, has really forced me to have that love for myself. And I know that, like, in one of my songs, I say, you can't love somebody else unless you love yourself.
That's real.
It is, but it kind of worked in reverse for me, because I've struggled loving myself, and I've loved hard, but with like where I'm at right now currently, and another part of that is just like with my gender identity, my sexual kind of orientation. I grew up in a very toxic LGBTQIA community. Coming up, when I lived in Dayton, Ohio, it was very toxic. It was, because I was more masculine presenting, I would be considered a stud. I hate labels, by the way. But, you can't be attracted to certain people. You can't, you have to only date feminine women. Like, it was very toxic, very confusing, very just not really honoring of who I am today. But, I will say, like, over the past couple of years, I've been more comfortable in my skin of like who I identify as. Like, I love, first of all people. A lot of people think that I'm a lesbian. I'm not. Like, I love men. I love women. I love women who used to be men who used to be women. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to be women. I don't transgender. It doesn't matter to me. People, if you're beautiful, you have a beautiful heart, and there's some attraction there, I don't mind. I don't have a sexual preference. I just don't. But and then as far as like my gender identity, like I've struggled with that over the years, like a lot of people, which is why I put lady in front of my name, because people would misgender me all the time, think I was a dude. And it hurt a lot. And then for a while there, I thought maybe I just need to kind of switch teams a little bit. I thought about it, when it started to be more acceptable to be like transgender, but it's not who I am. I don't want to be a dude. Like, literally, I don't. I am who I am. Like, I'm just me. Literally, right. I'm just me. And I don't really care to put a label on that. And people who feel like they need to put labels on it, that's fine. If that's what you feel like you need to do from a affirming standpoint, but when people do it to be negative, it's just like, what the fuck? Like, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of all of that has to play into like just my body dysmorphia and how I feel about myself, and that I struggle with all the time. And then there's like surface level things that I know that I could do to help feel the way that I feel. Like, you know, I could go to the gym more and I could eat better. Those are surface level things. But if I was also in the best shape of my life, I would still feel that self-hate for myself. And I have not done the deeper work to identify where that comes from. I need to. It needs to be high on the priority list. It just isn't. I'm just being honest. Because I've gotten by. And the most recent thing that happened, which actually has never really happened to me. It was the first for me where someone had commented on my physical appearance in a music video. And it's crazy because that music video has been done for a little bit, and I wasn't going to release it because I didn't like the way I looked. So that's what's crazy. Like, I was talking to my wife like a week before I released it. I said, babe, I don't want to release it. I don't like the way that I look. You know, I don't, you know, and I got over it. And shout out to Matt Bueller, the Alien director. Yeah, and shout out to Brad Oz, who shot it. Because I shared with Matt, like, I'm feeling self-conscious of certain things that, you know, and so he did his best to come up with something that felt good to me. And so I finally put it out, and then somebody commented a GIF that was a character that was less than appealing and said that I looked like him. So, and it hurt. Like, I cried that entire night. And then even the next morning, I was feeling very hurt about it. And, but you know what? My response was, you know, be mindful, because you never know what someone's going through. And I am blessed enough to have people in my life that constantly remind me of how beautiful I am. Not everybody has that. So we have to be more kind to people, because that if I wasn't as strong as I am and didn't have the support system that I have, I could have very well taken my life for that.
100%.
You know, and so yeah, be kind, people. Be kind, be mindful. Stop commenting on people's appearances. I know sometimes even people do it to be nice, like, oh, you look great, or you look like you're losing weight, or you're like, you know, it's just say, oh, you're looking healthy, or, you know what I'm saying, like, or if somebody looks tired, don't tell them that. They don't want to hear that. Right. They don't. I don't give a fuck who you are. Nobody wants to hear that you look tired. You know what I'm saying, or you look like anything. Like, just me in particular, when you see me out, I don't care I don't care for you to talk about how I look. I hate it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah,
unless you talk about my fresh kicks, or you know what I'm saying. Shout out to Wasted Bread.
Shout out Wasted.
Yeah, man.
I strongly relate to that. You know, growing up being a bigger person, it was extremely hard for me to get in front of this camera consistently and do the pod and you know, be comfortable. I was like, man, you know how I look. Like I just told before it started, take a picture, show how I look. Let me see how I look before.
Yeah,
in my mind, I'd be like, man, bro. You know, let me just. I don't know. I just grew up a bigger person, and I don't care about what people think of me. But at the same time, I care about how I think about me. Yeah. And sometimes I be getting a little self-conscious at times, but you know, it's tough, bro. For people out there to you know, to do what we do, getting in front of the camera, whether that's making music, vlogs, anything, it is
tough.
It's tough. It's very self-conscious, even with my voice. Yeah. The reason why I was like, I can't make music because my voice don't sound like how the rappers sound or the DJs, and it just and then other people be like, man, I thought your voice sound right on par for, and I'd be like, man, that's crazy, man. Yeah. But it's tough, man. I think we live in a world that's too judgy, and I think that too opinionated. I think we need to sit back a little bit, man, and just focus on yourself, man. Yeah. But just support people. Just to support people. Don't support people and be like, oh, well, you know, like you said, oh, you're losing weight or this and that. Just I like what you got going on. Keep doing it.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I don't think we were meant as humans, and this might get into a whole nother conversation, but I was just talking to some friends of mine that last night actually, because I felt it was like around 9:00 at night, and we were up in Muskegon, myself, my wife, and two of our good friends, taking a much needed break that I need. I really needed a break, so I invited some friends, beach house, just kind of chill, eat outside, bonfire, all that, and I felt an energy shift in the universe, and it made me really, really sad. And so it really triggered a conversation of, like, as human beings, we're not supposed to take in as much as we're taking in, you know? It's just not healthy. There's no way in the world anybody can tell me that it is, too much information, too many opinions,
Yes.
and not enough just genuine human connection.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And how we get back to
On
that, I
point.
don't know. I don't know if we ever can. But I think the somewhat of a cure to that is people just need to be kind.
Yes.
Just be kind and be mindful, and be emotional and intelligent. Like, practice that. Like, that might not come natural, but practice it. It's okay. It's okay to
Absolutely.
practice emotional intelligence. We're lacking that, a lot of it, and I think it will make the world a better place. Quite frankly.
I agree. I think not just social media. I think just the internet.
Yeah.
I don't think we was meant to, as a people, to be able to see what somebody in China is doing at 3:21
In the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah.
It's too much information.
It's
and,
too
and,
much.
and subconsciously,
access.
as a people, as a human race,
Yeah.
stereotypes come into our head, and then we start treating people like this and treating
Yep.
people like that. People think that what you see on the internet is the majority, and 9 times out of 10, what you see on the internet is the minority
Yeah.
of whatever stereotype you was trying to push on any type
That's
of
real.
people.
That's real.
So
That is real.
I just think that I was having a conversation with my wife the other day, and not to get political at all. It's just I just don't understand why, as a human race, we put so much hate into people. My religion better than your religion, and my life is better than your life.
Yeah.
Why? I just don't.
I
I
don't
don't
get that
understand.
concept
I
either.
don't understand. It just is so. Yeah, but we ain't gonna hold on to this too much longer. That's not what we're here for.
I feel you though,
got
bro.
anything
I
to
feel you.
get
I
into?
was just gonna say, I'm not sure, religious faith or whatever you may have, but the Bible says you are beautifully and wonderfully made.
Thank you.
So don't ever forget that, regardless of what's
Thank you.
ever said, regardless of whatever. Like, God created you, and you came from however you feel, wherever you came from, the
Yeah.
source of God, whatever.
Yeah.
He created you to be you. You are fulfilling a purpose that only you can fulfill.
Yeah. I believe
Regardless
that.
of your looks, regardless of whatever. He put you here for a reason. You are here. So he made you look that way for a reason.
Yeah.
And he said you are beautiful.
Thank you.
He said you are wonderful. And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So don't, we all go through what's going on internally and the things we tell ourselves. But just know that, like,
Thank you.
you're beautiful. You're wonderful. You do great work. You're appreciated. You are needed here in the scene.
Thank you.
But you are needed to your family, like all of that. Just God bless you. Like, don't let none of that stuff break you. Don't let none of that stuff stop you. Keep going. Keep loving yourself. Keep loving your family.
Thank you.
Love those that love you, and everybody else can just get out the way.
Keep it moving.
Absolutely. Let's
Thank you. That was
take a
beautiful.
second to clap it up for everybody at home behind the camera.
Yeah, man.
I want to take a little clap it
Yeah.
up real quick, man. It's just for everybody, man. Nah, it's real
Post production.
real claps, man, because to get up and to do anything,
Yeah.
even if it's just getting up consistently to go to work, take a lot. And I know we going through a lot as a people
Love
in this
yourself.
world. Love yourself, please
Yeah.
love yourself.
Love yourself.
And
Yeah.
love the neighbor.
Yeah.
Please, we live in a world with too much hate.
We do.
We need more love. We need more respect. We need more understanding.
Yeah, understanding. Yes. That is huge. And understanding. Yes. Like, that's huge. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Got anything?
Yeah, well, we didn't. Well, let's talk about a little bit. I know we're kind of getting close, but guerrilla music, Push City Cypher.
Oh,
yes.
I know that's kind of the current stage of where you're at. How did that all come about?
Yeah.
Is there anything we can look forward to?
Did y'all do one last night?
So Thursday night.
Okay.
Thursday night, we teamed up with Sounds of the Zoo, which is a festival, a multi-genre festival. It's a week long that happens in Kalamazoo. And we did a Push the City Cypher 32 bar competition.
Nice.
And so we chose 3 artists out of that group to be a part of the next Push the City Cypher
Shout out
production.
Ruben, my brother Ruben. Shout out.
Oh
Ruben.
man, love that dude.
Shout
So
out
listen,
Ruben.
let's talk a little bit about that. So we, the stars just aligned, man, because like we've seen each other in passing, we've gave each other the respect and the nod over the years, but when Push the City Cypher was kind of born, we developed a friendship and a relationship that has been one of the greatest pleasures of my life, quite frankly. Wonderful dude, incredible human. We share a lot of the same values, and we both take care of our families, extended and beyond, and so we relate to each other in a lot of those ways, and we both really believe in the artistry of the the people in our city and that we love. You know what I'm saying? Like we want, because at the end of the day, one misconception is like we charge or we ask people for things for the content for Push the City. We don't. We use our own money. It's not cheap to put on the production, and we offer professional photos, professional footage, professional just experience to these artists for nothing. Like literally nothing. Yeah, Push the City Cypher has just been one of the greatest things that we've done, and because it's not easy putting together. I mean, we've collaborated with over 100 artists at this point, and not just from Grand Rapids. There's been a lot of folks who have tapped in that are from outside of Grand Rapids, but we wanted to start here because this is the place that we love. This is what we've poured into, and our selection process has been, it's changed over time, but ultimately there's so many artists and so many people that we want to involve. And throughout that, we've learned a lot about a lot of people, like who not to work with, just on the strength of like entitlement and ego, but also one of the most beautiful things that has come from Push the City Cypher outside of my relationship with Ruben is we've been able to really squash like beefs. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like we've had people who absolutely was ready to kill each other type shit come together on these ciphers. Been in the same, who couldn't even be in the same room together, come together on these ciphers. That's hip hop.
Yeah,
for sure.
100%.
You know what I mean? That's hip hop. That's unity. That's
unity.
Crazy.
I was about to say that's community, but
right? Ain't no gatekeeping stuff right there.
That
That's
ain't
real.
gatekeeping. It's not. And most of the artists
that's breaking the gates down.
It is. And literally the first production that we did, volume 1 through 3, half of those artists, more than half, we didn't even know. We didn't even know, right? But we wanted to give them an opportunity because either at some point they got our attention, or at that time they were like, "Yo, let's give them an opportunity," And that's really how it's mostly been throughout the entire selection process, outside of the All-Star production. But yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting journey working with the artists and seeing all the different things that people have to say about it, and but it has ultimately made the most beautiful impact, and we'll continue to do it. At some point we need to package it up a little bit more economical from a business perspective. But for now, like, this is our gift to the people, period.
Yes. We appreciate it too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Anything you want to say in closing?
Yeah, I just got one last question.
Go for it.
Buckeyes or Wolverines?
What's that, baseball? Nah, I'm just joking. Sometimes, like, when it's football season, I'll just to like piss off some of the homies. I'll post like, oh, go Houston Rockets, or because I don't know a good goddamn nothing about sports, to be quite honest. Nowadays, anyway, at this point in my life, I used to watch football a lot. I used to play football. I used to play
that's
baseball.
Why I asked you, because it's the Wolverines or Buckeyes football, college football. That's
Okay,
the big
thank you
rivalry, so that's why I was asking.
Thank you for clarifying, because when I knew it wasn't baseball, but I'm like, was it basketball? Was it football? What the fuck is he talking about? Excuse my language. I'm sorry.
No, you cool.
Yeah, neither. I don't care.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I just figured with you having background in both, you might have an opinion. That's interesting.
I
don't usually meet people from Ohio and got background in Ohio and Michigan.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair.
So I had to ask, but
whoever got the most heart and whoever's like the best humans on the team.
Go blue.
Go blue all day.
There you go. Go blue. If you shitty and not taking care of your family, then I hope you lose every time.
Yeah, then you must be a Michigan State fan or something like that. No, actually, I do got one more question though. Yeah. I know how you said how you migrated here to Grand Rapids, but what made you not stop in Detroit first before you got here?
Yeah, no, good question. It just wasn't part of the plan, I guess. Detroit was never really on my radar. Sorry. And it could just because of lack of like knowledge and understanding of like where like the generation of like different icons in hip hop, and because I know there's a lot of culture there, and I'm not saying that it's not something that I'm interested in. It's just not something that I was really privy to and are like cared to be, I guess. Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not even really my wife loves to go to Detroit, but I've played there a couple times. I think it's great, but man, I think people really sleep on the fact that Grand Rapids is one of the dopest fucking cities in Michigan, man. It is. And I know that there's a lot of gentrification, a lot of, developments that may seem like they don't belong and maybe might be a little misdirected and guided because, there's a lot of things that we could be investing in. I think people need to stop thinking on that level. I like to think a little bit more micro. The people, the community around me. You know what I'm saying? How can I impact? How can I contribute? How can I continue to connect with the people around me and the issues around me and the things around me? And I've fallen back a little bit with like mediation and like getting into certain things and trying to like protect the peace, but I am feeling a little more compelled or inspired lately, and I have a little bit more capacity mentally to start to enter into those conversations to make sure that the work that I have put in and the work that others have put in over, the last decade is sustained. And I made a post about how recently how people they don't protect culture, right? They just let people come in whenever they want, and then there's no standard. And somebody made a comment. I can't remember who it was, but they said, "Well, what is the standard? How can we protect something that hasn't been solidified?" And that's just a fact. That's a fact and that's truth. And so I think naturally, what I would like to do and logically would be to start that conversation to see how can we start to develop. Maybe it's a board of directors. Maybe it's something that we can. I know that there's some initiatives at a high level, but I think it needs to be, people like myself need to be included, period. People like you guys need to be included, who has their feet on the ground, their ears to the streets, the heart of the people, the trust of the people. We need to be included in these conversations and in these higher level kind of collaborations to make sure that we are, defining and sustaining, our culture. Yeah.
Valid. Cool. We're closing it out. All right. Every episode is sponsored by Stockton Bar Vodka. We love to give our risk takers a bottle from our sponsor.
Yeah.
So every sponsor takes home a great bottle of Stockton Bar Vodka.
Shout out to the homie Deborah. That's the homie.
Shout out Deborah. Shout out Daryl. Shout out Reese's and Pieces. Shout out to House of Style. Shout out to everything they got going on. The family for real.
Where you like to get it at, son?
I love to get it at the AC Hotel.
Distill how many times?
7.
That's what's up, man. Let me give a quick shout out to Albie and Company. We're shooting right now. That the fellas asked me. They said, "Where are you most comfortable?" Like, that's where we want to come. And I'm like, let me think about that. Other than being at home, like the only place where I get to pause and just like really just be free is at the barbershop. When I'm sitting in that chair and I'm just like, damn it, just relaxing and ain't worrying about nothing, is when I'm sitting in that chair. And so shout out to Albie for having us and for this beautiful space.
This is an amazing barbershop.
Yeah, it's really dope.
Amazing.
Albie and Company.
The chairs is crazy in here.
Yeah,
the couch is crazy, but them chairs.
For sure.
Love. And appreciate you guys for having me. And, I really appreciate the opportunity. When I first reached out, I thought I had a lot of things that I wanted to get off my chest. But as I've kind of reflected and I've just been true to who I am, I think the way that this has been perfect. We're not messy. It's not. You guys aren't a messy podcast. I'm not a messy person. It's just not who we are. Even though sometimes situations cause us to probably want to be. You guys can't take me off my rock. You can't. I'm sorry. I'm gonna remain who I am. I'm gonna stay true to that. And and I appreciate you guys for having me.
Appreciate you coming. Appreciate you reaching out too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We do like to close it out with what?
We always like to ask the fellow risk taker on the show if they would like to honor, if they would like to ask anybody else that they can think of that they see as a risk taker as well to come be on the show. This is their personal invitation. So if you give us 2 to 3 people that you feel like would be great on the show, let us know.
Tell me if these folks have been on yet, but I don't think so. Dante Cope?
No.
Dante
Bremerton,
Cope needs to be
yeah.
sitting in one of these chairs. I think you are one of the most incredible risk takers. What you have contributed to our community has been unmatched. It's been consistent. It's been beautiful. So reach out to these fellas, or hopefully they reach out to you. Either way, make it happen. Woozy. Has Woozy been on the platform?
Not yet. He on the list.
He is on the list.
Lyricist
Okay, so
of the
yeah,
year.
yep. Woozy has been one of the people who, when I think about like the last 12 years and who's been consistent and who's really been, pouring into the scene, not just themselves. His name, Woozy comes up, Dante Cope comes up, and I'll give you another name who's a significant risk taker, Ajax Stacks.
Ajax Stacks.
Yep, Ajax Stacks. I would love to have you come out and have a conversation with these fellas. It's actually a really great time. Ajax is a little more skeptical than I am, but I think that he would really enjoy having this conversation and been reached out to. Who else? Mike G would be dope. Has Mike G been on here?
Yeah,
It's so funny when you said that. He's a little bit more skeptical.
Mike G is definitely skeptical.
Yes. Mike G, please. We want to have
I can put in the word. I can put in the word. I will
Please
put in the
put
word. Yep, Mike G. Super Dre. Has Super Dre been on the platform?
we just talked to
Yep, I can. Okay, great. Yep, she would be an amazing person to sit here and have a conversation with. And then my baby Ruben Martinez. I think he's made a lot of sacrifices, taking a lot of risks, and he's someone who would be able to really have a good conversation with you guys. So, Ruben, Super Dre, Woozy, Ajax Stacks, Dante Cope, Mike G. I'm calling you out, baby. Let's get it.
To get on here, holla at us.
It's been another episode of the Risk Takers. Got my main man
Chase in the building.
with our very special guest.
Lady Ace Boogie, you got it.
It's Oso Loso, and we out.
Peace.
Risk takers out.
Yeah.